Hey listeners, before we get started on this episode, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. We're planning on starting a Patreon account in the next few weeks. We'll still be releasing our usual amount of content for free as always. This is just a way to allow us to do more cool stuff and offer more content. We have a lot of ideas already, but we're interested to know what sort of content you all would be interested in. So get in touch with us on the usual channels, Twitter, Facebook, email, and let us know what you'd like to see on Patreon, what we can offer that would be interesting to you. All right, here's the show. Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulcairn, your game master. Playing Stitch is Kit Mulcairn, and playing Dante Sparta is Liz Logan.
Dante!
What? I'm eating my fucking Lunchable!
What's pegging?
Oh, God.
Aww.
Well, let me tell you, Stitch.
Playing Morden Solus is Colin Mulcairn.
There are some heroes who rely on charm or a magic sword or something greater. I don't need none of that, cause in my arm's a cybernetic diagnostic fabricator. It can hack me into anything or shock your nervous system just like this. Can even freeze you in a block of ice or shoot a fireball and probably miss. If you don't use one of these, that makes you quite a fool. I can do a lot, and that's because of my dear beloved Omni tool. I've got a lot of tech, but here's my crowning jewel. Way better than your sonic screwdriver is my dear beloved Omni tool.
I think I'm gonna start introducing Colin last. No offense, Miles. Oh yeah, playing Nico Minoru is Miles.
I spent
Schneider.
karma!
Okay, great. That's very good. Previously, in exchange for the Stone of Grace, you agreed to ally yourselves with the shapeshifting mage Flemeth and her army of wildlings in their battle against the undead in the north of Westeros. While the wildling army engaged the undead, you slipped behind enemy lines, eventually reaching the entrance to a cave in the side of a glacier, within which lies the source of the undead. However, an old friend arrived, none other than Count Dracula, much less dead than you assumed he had been, and
Well,
he
actually,
intends...
about as dead as we thought he was.
That's
In
also
a different
fair.
way, though.
Yeah. Much more mobile than you had anticipated
Sure,
he
yeah,
would be. And he intends to take the power over the undead for himself. He hovers above you now in the sky, and with a snarl, he throws his arms out wide. Gigantic red, leathery wings erupt from his sides, large enough to cover a basketball court. The wings themselves begin to sprout dark, writhing shapes. They look almost liquid with how sinuous they are. A pair of huge muscular arms made out of twisted black sinew and topped with long claws reach forward eagerly. 3 heads, each the size of a full-grown adult, almost snake-like in appearance, emerge from these wings at the end of long, sinewy necks. Lurking in the shadows of the wings, you can see many more menacing shapes. There's some skeletal ones, some animal ones. All of them are demonic in some way, and all of them look down at you and regard you with eager, boiling malevolence. Roll initiative.
Oh.
boiling.
Okay.
Ready?
In case anyone wants a visual reference, this is Dracula's final form from Symphony of the Night.
So are we talking like pro NBA basketball court or like collegiate amateur?
Is there a
court?
difference? I figured it was a standard size basketball court.
I actually don't know.
Well, there you go. Smarty pants.
You're not supposed to old man from scene 24 me.
Stitch.
5.
Morden.
11.
Dante.
8,
Nico.
3.
All right. Geralt.
6.
Flemeth.
6.
6. Okay, great. Morden, you are up first.
Exciting. Okay. Okie dokie.
So yeah, you have a giant demonic creature hovering above your head. Off in the distance, the undead still wage war against the wildlings. There's a large patch of cooling lava some ways off from Nico's last spell. It's fun times all around.
I have kind of a weird idea, because there's like cliffs around us and stuff, right? Could there be like rock surfaces above him? Or-
Probably not directly above him, because you guys are kind of up against the side of a glacier. Not directly touching it, but like the glacier's to your back, so he kind of came from the open area. But like, I'll say that there's probably some nearby icy and rocky ledges and overhangs. So not
Yeah.
directly above him, though.
I was trying to think if there was some way of making a portal above his head a ways off, and then making a portal by some lava, and hoping that lava fell into the portal, and then like poured out like a stream onto his head. I'd have to get the angles just right, and I don't know.
Yeah, you
can- that red.
force.
You can make the attempt. It's going to be really tricky just because of the geography of this place. But, you know, if you roll well enough, I'll say it happens.
Okay, let's see what happens. I don't have a whole lot of karma.
All right, so you're actually going to be rolling reason for this.
Reason? Okay. I'll spend some karma.
Okay.
I only have a little bit left, but we'll see what I can do. Okay, so I rolled a green. If I spend every point of karma that I have but one, I will have a red.
Wow.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to spend
Jesus.
I'm going to spend
Awesome.
47 karma. I'm going to be down to 1 karma, and I'm going to bring it from a green to a red.
Well, I have to have you hit him with lava now. Like, I feel obligated at this point.
I'm sure you won't need that karma later.
Oh no, totally. I'm good with 1 point of karma. That's totally fine.
You very quickly do the calculations in your head and find a rock face jutting up at just the right height and angle. You shoot one portal basically into the lava field and then another directly onto the exact right spot on that rock, which causes this like beautiful arcing rainbow of lava to just erupt out and tag Dracula straight on. Yeah, he's going to take a bunch of damage from that. It is Dracula's
Science,
turn.
bitch.
That's right. So
I want my own personal like Jesse Pinkman lab assistant to just come along with me and shout at it. Can we cross over with the Breaking Bad universe at some
We'll
point?
have
so I
to
can make
quest
it
for
happen?
that, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dracula is very unhappy with this whole situation.
Yeah.
Mainly the most recent offense on his being, which that would be the lava. All of his many limbs and heads and just demonic appendages begin to lash out in various ways, clawing at each of you at, a fairly considerable reach. Okay, so Morden, one of his claws lashes out at the end of this impossibly long and sinuous arm and slashes into you for 40 damage. Your
Okay.
force field does apply, however.
Cool. That
And I
takes up
bel-
my force field.
That's what I thought. There's a flash of light as your force field drops beneath the incredible punishment of his claws. His second claw lashes out at Dante. One of his heads goes for Geralt. However, Dante and Geralt are both able to get out of the way. Stitch and Nico are the targets of his final 2 heads, which begin to snap down with their gnashing snake-like teeth. Stitch, you're getting hit, and you need to make an endurance check. Nico, you barely managed to get out of the way.
Okay. Karma. For endurance checks, always. I'm just gonna leave that at a yellow.
Okay, cool. So you are not stunned, but you do take 30 damage from his bite. And then the rest of his body sort of like shrinks backward, and then there's this bright flash of light as this twisting, writhing, coruscating bolt of energy flies out from him and hits Flemeth square on. Flemeth takes 75 damage.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to Dante's turn.
There's no buttholes here. Like, Dante has to think of something.
Oh, you guys are terrible.
Oh, we're the terrible
Yeah,
ones.
where could we have gotten
We're
that
the
idea from?
monsters.
The correct answer is we actually don't know how many buttholes there are.
Exactly.
There's
I was
appears to
like,
be multiple of
he's-
everything.
multiple heads, multiple arms. I mean,
Yeah.
The most sinewy
Anything's possible.
buttholes.
It's a,
Too many choices. Is that the problem?
yeah. So like, what
spoiled
is-
for buttholes.
What's the whole surrounding issue going on right now?
In terms of like the landscape,
Yeah.
probably about 50 to 60 feet behind you is that glacier. A ways away from you in the glacier wall is the cave from which the song appears to be emanating. Some distance off is where the battle between the undead and the wildlings is occurring. Besides that is just snow and ice and the occasional rocky outcropping.
Are there hills?
Yeah, there's probably hills. I mean, you guys are kind of in a valley, but like kind of towards the end of it, so you can probably find a more raised area.
Dracula. What is his height relative to the hills?
He's probably about 50 feet up from where you guys are. So depending on the hill you find, you could probably gain another maybe 15 feet towards him.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I am going to climb up a hill, and then I am going to use my sword as a snowboard.
And just start snowboarding around?
Yes, and then I will find a hill that is perfectly angled towards Dracula, and I will launch myself up, and I will take his ratty-ass cape that I stole from him, and I will put it over his head and drag him to the ground.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Liz, once again. I do not know how this system would handle that. I'm going to say this is an agility check.
Okay.
Just one.
Oh, well, to get it started.
yeah.
I'm gonna say karma. Good thing I did, because I got a 26.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and spend, 70 and take it to red.
I will say, Liz, this check is just going to get you up to his level. Trying to drag him down is going to be a separate check. So
I will take it to green.
Okay, there you go. You do a sick melon grab, I guess. I think that's just a skateboarding term. Off of a conveniently ramped hill. And you are airborne, flying up towards him, pulling out his cape in slow motion. And you're going to try to wrap it around him and drag his now gigantic, twisted, winged form down to the ground. So give me a strength check for that one, please.
Okay.
And he's going to be resisting you with his own strength.
Karma.
Okay.
Yellow.
That is sufficient. You don't find Dracula himself amidst the mass of, weird demonic limbs coming out of his wings and everything, but you manage to wrap his cape around a sufficiently large mass, and basically putting all your weight behind it, you drag him down, and Dracula and Dante hit the snow with a thunderous crash.
I just wanted to return your stupid cape! Ah!
How's my lava doing? I imagine it's not hitting him anymore.
It's still kind of conveniently arcing out, so it's still, usable if someone can do it accurately.
I could also move the second portal and, change where it's exiting from.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely you could. Now he's on the ground, so it's probably actually going to be easier for you to find an angle. Flemeth, it is your turn.
I think for the sake of HP, she's gonna morph into her dragon form.
Great. So this dark mist seems to spread out from her with rapid speed, and then it solidifies into her draconic form. It is Geralt's turn.
Geralt is gonna see his bro Dante doing some cool shit, so he's gonna run over.
Stick it up his butt. Do it.
That actually, yeah. No, Geralt doesn't roll that way. He's not a weirdo.
He has before.
I'm gonna say he's gonna cast Yrden.
Okay.
Try to stun him.
Yeah, so that'll be a psyche check for him.
Can't undo the horrible things you've made Geralt do.
That's, yellow.
Okay. So there's an eruption of magical energy from around Dracula as he's pummeled by the eldritch might of Geralt's spell. He is not stunned, but he does take a bunch of damage, which is always nice.
Excellent.
Stitch, it is your turn.
So Dracula's on the floor of the canyon.
Yes.
Am I imagining that correctly about where we're battling?
It's a valley.
A valley.
Yeah.
So there's some hills, not too many hills.
Yeah.
Maybe a goat or two.
I mean, probably at somewhere there is a goat.
I'm trying to imagine. What's a valley like?
Well, yeah, there's a goat riding on another goat into battle, thanks to Stitch's tactics last session.
Okay, and then there's some lava over there somehow.
Yeah, there is an arc of lava flying through the air.
That looks super inviting.
Yeah.
Ooh. Stitch is gonna run over to the lava.
Okay.
He's gonna just start, he's gonna make sure all 4 arms are popped out. And he's gonna start grabbing lava, making it into quick little, balls of plasma, and then just chucking it.
Nice. I like it.
You have here multiple arms. Now, I don't know if that you can make that count for multiple
Yeah,
attacks.
I'll say you can throw 2 lava balls in one turn.
Okay.
So give me 2 agility checks.
That's a green.
Okay.
And a white.
Very good. You nailed Dracula with one of your lava balls. And Nico.
So I'm going to say 3 blind, horribly ugly mice.
Okay. You trying to blind him?
I am trying to blind all 3 of them.
Awesome. Do your psyche.
Any guesses on what I'm doing first?
Spending karma, perhaps?
Spending karma. I will spend 11 karma to get that to yellow.
Very good. Let me roll for these guys. Wow! They suck at rolling!
Yay!
All 3 of the heads are now blind, as a magical cloud of darkness surrounds all of them.
Awesome.
That brings us back up to Morden. So Dracula is currently on the ground. Dante is up close to it. Stitch is flinging lava balls. Flemeth's become a dragon. The heads are all blind. It's good times.
Right. This is a fairly big creature, right? Is there a section of it that's not touching Dante so that I could shoot some lava at it and it would not be hitting Dante probably?
Oh, you can easily target a section of this thing without any worry of hitting Dante.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say my exit portal, which will say is like the blue portal, whatever. I'm going to remake it on another rock surface where it will hit him in his current position.
Awesome.
So is that another reason check to see if I can find a suitable surface where it'll hit him?
Yes, that will be a reason check, but the difficulty isn't going to be as high, so you don't need
Okay.
to get as good of a result in order to hit him with it.
Hey, this time I rolled a 93, so there we are.
Nice. Yeah, you once again position it perfectly so that the arc of lava is no longer splashing down next to Stitch, but is instead arcing out and directly into Dracula's left wing. And Dracula takes more lava damage. All right, it is Dracula's turn now. And once again, he's going to be lashing out with a flurry of attacks, except this time he's going to be focusing them on different people.
Less accurately, I'll bet.
Less accurately, for sure.
In future boss fights, it would just be great if you could just like make a vat of acid or some sort of horrible substance that I can just shoot out of portals at people. Like, it's just really good to have around.
Oh yeah, you want me to use some of my magic? Really? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not really. Not actually real, so I'm not sure if I can do that for you.
Oh, you guys. So, Dante, his two claws are coming around to try to tear you apart.
Of course. People can't keep their hands off me.
Well, apparently he can, because thanks to the blindness spell, he's clawing sort of in your general direction, but he's way off mark, and you have no fear of getting hit right this second. In the meantime, all three of his mouths are going to be biting at Geralt. Oofa doofa. Okay, so one of them would have hit but is missing because of the blindness. One of them is hitting but is dodgeable or blockable because of the blindness. And one of them is not avoidable at all. So Geralt can dodge or block one of those.
I guess he'll dodge.
Okay,
Green.
very good. Oh, not quite good enough though.
Shit!
Geralt's getting hit twice for 30 damage each.
Woo!
And then this thing is going to shoot off another magical energy ray at Flemeth. Although again at a penalty. Oh, but still manages to hit her for another 75.
Whew.
Oh
Nice
my
body
god.
armor this time, though. So only 65.
Not bad.
I'm glad that those aren't coming my way, because that would kind of be the end of me.
Yeah, fortunately, she's drawing a lot of aggro right now. It is Dante's turn.
My sword's right next to me, right?
It is. It is still covered in frost from when you hit that other earlier.
I want to try slicing hands.
Yeah, go for it. Make a fighting roll for me.
Okay, white.
All right, not so much. You whip out at one of his lashing claws, but it's lashing around too much for you to get a reliable beat on, and you get nothing but air.
Okie dokie.
It is Flemeth's turn.
Well, she's got her good old fire breath. She's gonna lay some fire breath.
Very good. So that's an agility roll for her.
That is a green.
Yeah. So she rears her head back, opens up her jaws, and a gout of liquid flame burns into Dracula.
You take 75 damage.
Oh, he does. It is Geralt's turn.
Okay, Geralt sees what Dante does, and he's gonna try to do the same thing.
Try to cut off a hand.
Cut off a hand.
Go for it.
Oh, he does much better. Yellow.
Yep, that's what he needed. Let me see how this monster does. Geralt digs his blade into this thing's wrist and pushes as hard as he can. There's hot black blood that spurts out on either side. He doesn't manage to sever the hand, unfortunately, but he does manage to do quite a bit of damage to it in the meantime. And that brings us to Stitch.
I was kind of looking at this little picture here. There's not like fantastically high-res images.
Yeah.
But it looks like Dracula's body is still like there.
I mean, that's what the
right?
picture's showing.
And
yeah.
like everything else is coming off of these like disgusting giant red wings, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Although, actually, make a perception check, Stitch.
Okay. Wait.
I'm sorry, not perception.
I was like, wait a second.
Wrong system.
Psyche?
Make an intuition check.
Intuition. Green.
Okay. Stitch, at the beginning of the fight, Dracula was in the middle of this mess. He is not right now.
Oh.
It's just sort of coming out of nothing. Like, where he is just like a mass of that sort of
Sinew?
webbed red, like, batwing material.
Okay. Weird. Okay. Stitch now that his lava was moved away from him. Rude. He's just gonna just charge right into what is apparently now Dracula.
Okay. You're just throwing yourself at his body mass.
Yeah, he wants to close the distance, and what better way to do that than just
Run in full speed. Yeah.
Just going all full.
Yeah, roll that charge attack for me.
Oh yeah, red.
Nice. Dracula is flung backwards from the force of Stitch's impact and is sort of lying on its back equivalent. Like, it's kind of hard to assign any sort of arbitrary humanoid anatomy to this thing, but it's definitely stunned looking. It's trying to kind of gather its bearings a bit after being blinded and then hit by the force of a train.
I like to think Stitch is like, you just hear a little like patter, 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 and then boom, aloha!
I imagine it looks stunned in the same way that, like, a bowl of pasta that's spilled on the ground would look stunned.
Yes. It's more like the way a bowl of worms would look stunned if you threw them on the ground.
Aw, poor worms.
I do like, by the way, how this thing keeps getting knocked out of the way of the waterfall of lava that Morden painstakingly sets up everywhere.
And then I'm like, redoing the calculations. I'm like, okay, from here to there. And yeah.
Stupid humans. Or whatever Stitch is.
Yep. Nico, it is your turn.
So I'm going to say Bonds of Rock.
Okay.
And the idea is going to be that the ground that the creature is lying on will rise up around each appendage and kind of hold it to the ground.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Roll it for me.
And I will spend some motherfucking karma.
Great.
Oh, well, there might not have been a need, but in any case, the 10 karma spent on that is enough to raise it to a red.
Very nice. Jagged fingers of rock suddenly jut out of the icy and snowy ground and wrap around several of this thing's many extremities, keeping it from being able to rise back up. So it is now pinned and prone, in addition to being blind and stunned.
Fuck you.
All right, Morden, we are back to you, sir.
Pour lava on it now.
The fact that there's no Dracula there, Morden doesn't see this, but what my brain tells me is that means that he, like, disconnected from the wings, and this is some sort of distraction that he's, like, shed, that we're fighting while he's, like, slipped away. I don't know if that's true or not. Do I make, like, a perception check to try and see if that's what's going on, or has he just, like, vanished deeper within it, or...
You can give me a perception check to see
Or
if you...
Perception's not a thing still.
Right.
It's still not a thing.
Intuition.
Intuition, sorry.
Perception, I believe, is a talent that I offered. So if you have it, then you get a bonus. But yeah, it's an intuition check.
Wouldn't that be reason?
No, in this case, it is not.
Oh, okay.
I have assessment.
This does not apply.
Okay. No, I got a white, so...
Okay. Yeah, you still have your turn if you want to do it, but you're not spotting anything particularly noteworthy at this point.
All right, I think Morden's going to let out another exaggerated sigh that this giant, fleshy mass keeps getting knocked out of the place that he placed it in. So he's going to try and see if he can find a new spot to put the portal where Dracula will get hit by some lava.
Okay. That's a reason check, and I'm actually going to give you a +2 bonus because Dracula is currently pinned.
And I'm getting awful good at it at this point. So.
That's true. That's true.
That is a mighty 13.
Okay. Well,
Ouch.
You got khaki, kid.
Yeah.
The lava geyser erupts a good ways off from your target, and you're going to have to reassess that if you plan on doing it again next turn. All right, it is Dracula's turn. I'm going to see if he is no longer stunned. He is not stunned, however, he does not get his action this turn. So he's still pinned and prone and blind. Dante, it is your turn.
Dante sees that Geralt was mildly successful, so he has got to be successful after his spectacular failure.
Sure.
He wants to cut the hand.
All right, cool. I'm going to give you a +2 to hit because this thing is currently prone and pinned.
Then why am I not going for the butthole?
I mean, that's a question
That's a
only
question
you can
you
answer.
have to ask yourself.
Yep.
Am I gonna have to guess because he's wrapped in the cape a little bit? Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Butthole.
Butthole, but, who knows? He's in a cape. Okay.
I'm not sure that
Alright.
this creature possesses what might be called a butthole.
Whatever.
Just give him one,
Oh, man. It's just a green.
You just sort of assess this thing's overall anatomical structure and say, right about there seems right, and just stab. You're not real sure if what you hit could or could not be construed as a butthole, but, definitely did some damage on the way in, so there's that.
It's a butthole now.
It sure is. It is Flemeth's turn.
All right, this thing's held down. She is going to try and maybe rip off one of the heads with their big toothy maw. Just like, right, yank.
Nice. She's going to get a fighting check at +2.
Aw, no go. Too squirmy. Much worm. Too squirm.
Yeah. Her head and jaws snap down, but by this point, the creature is able to use what little wiggle room it has to get out of the way. It is Geralt's turn.
Geralt just can't copycat everything that Dante does. Wait! Yes, he can. Sort of. So after Dante takes out his sword from wherever it is that he stabbed, I want Geralt to cast Igni on the hole.
Nice. Give me that psyche check.
As he does so, does he yell fire in the hole?
Oh.
That's exactly what I was going for! Thank you, Colin! 58.
Okay.
Green.
Very good. So with another wave and enchanted spell, this time there's a burst of flame that engulfs part of the creature, which writhes in agony as it remains pinned to the ground. Stitch, it is your turn.
Stitch is gonna try some crazy ass shit.
Okay.
Who knew, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna try to jump up, grab one of the heads, then jump around, twist around another head, and then he's basically gonna try to make a knot out of the three.
Wow.
Out of the three necks.
That's very Disney of you.
The three necks are gonna make a nice little knot.
I'm going to say that's a fighting check.
That's so great. I'm gonna have to use karma.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Is that like a grapple or something? Like, what am I essentially doing?
I'll say if you can get it to a yellow, you will tie its heads together.
Okay, then I will bring it to a yellow.
Okay, yeah, so you grab one head, and through a series of agile diagonal jumps, you basically manage to tie all three heads together in an elaborate and uncomfortable looking bow. Nico, you are up.
So I'm going to say acupuncture from hell.
Nice.
Basically everywhere where the creature is lying on the ground, is pinned to the ground, I want, like, fiery rock spikes to come up and pierce through it.
That's pretty good.
I'm going to spend karma.
All right.
That is a red.
Nice. Ooh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. Everyone make a perception check for me.
Dan,
Yes?
everyone make a what check for you?
An intuition check. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Make an intuition check for me. Oh, I'm the worst GM.
Green.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Okay, so Nico points her staff forward, and as she says the spell and sort of jerks her staff up, there's a series of very uncomfortable looking flaming rocks that jut up like huge knives through the creature's body in a dozen places.
Holy
the thing
shit.
writhes a few times more, and then just seems to sort of melt away into a shadowy mist, dissolving away into the air. You all look around. The din of the distant battle between the undead and the humans returns to you. And then you all sort of make the connection that you saw Dracula at the start of the battle in the middle of that creature's mass, but towards the end, you realize he wasn't there. One by one, each of you turns and looks at the cave, and you can see that there's a pair of footprints that are leading inside.
I would like to take this moment to give Colin an opportunity to gloat, which may or may not be present in the final recording.
Colin can gloat, but Morden did not, because Morden did not see this coming.
There you go.
No, I said you, yeah.
But Colin has something to say to everyone, and that's, I told you so.
Yes, very good, very good.
Let's start running into the cave.
All right, so you all turn and immediately begin running. I assume Flemeth is turning into human form so that she can actually fit inside the cave.
Yes.
The space within the cave when you guys enter is actually relatively narrow. It basically formed from a cleft in the surface of the glacier, and in this jagged, uneven passage, the song of the undead is amplified to almost deafening levels, entirely drowning out the roar of battle from outside. This, combined with the blue-white ice of the walls, floors, and ceiling, give the sensation of having stepped entirely into a different universe. The path within the glacier splits off multiple times as you go, zigzagging its way through the ice. Sometimes these paths will join up with other paths. Sometimes they dead end at featureless blue-white walls. The whole feeling is like stepping into some otherworldly house of mirrors as you're trying to navigate your way through. Eventually, though, the narrow paths that you follow open up into a larger chamber. It's here that you see the source of the song and the source of the undead in Westeros. It's almost entirely encased in the ice of the farthest wall. It is a sword. The blade is jagged and asymmetrical, and it's the color of ice, and it's covered in runes.
Oh no! Oh no!
Big
The-
old skull on top.
The crossguard is adorned with a demonic skull, the empty eye sockets of which, along with the runes on the blade of the sword, are glowing with the same blue light that's been in the eyes of all of the undead you've encountered so far.
Guys, I need this sword. It's not even funny.
The hilt is made out of some unidentifiable dark metal. That's the only part of the sword that protrudes from the glacial wall. The handle is sticking out invitingly.
The sword that won a Smash Fiction match.
Things went really well for the last light-haired pretty boy who picked this up.
Yeah, but I'm already half demon. I need this sword. I
Great,
need
you can
it.
be all demon? No.
I need it. Devil
No
trigger.
butthole will be
Run.
safe when
Dante
you're all
runs
demon.
to the sword.
So
Dante runs to the sword and devil trigger.
Okay, well, before that, you see emerging from one of the other entrances into this chamber is the tattered vampire lord Dracula.
Oh, fuck him.
He sees the sword, and he also realizes that it's the source of the deathly call, and immediately lunges for it.
Okay, devil trigger. I'm being
Flem-
serious.
Flemeth does the same.
Right, because
And
that's her.
both figures are reaching out with outstretched fingers toward the handle of this blade. Dante,
I go for it. I go for it too.
Okay, so
Devil-
Dante
I
and
devil
Nico
trigger.
are all lunging for it. It sounds like.
I devil trigger though, so I'm faster than everybody.
I make a portal and reach in through the portal and grab it before anybody else.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to take a step out of character here for a second. This is a potentially problematic thing if you do it. Now, I'm not saying it's problematic for the story, because I think it'll be great for the story. But if someone gets this, there is the very real possibility that your character will change. I'm warning you about that because this is dangerous in a way that, like, your character getting hurt and injured is not dangerous, if that makes any sense. So again, I want to make it clear. I am 100% fine if you guys want to try to grab this, but I just feel like you need full informed consent about the possible consequences of it.
But-
you know I got me a backup character on.
Well,
Wild.
I know, Miles, I know.
By the way, Stitch is also going to run into the fray.
Okay.
I think Morden's actually going to shoot Dracula.
That's what Stitch was actually running to do.
Okay.
was to
Oh
go
yeah?
charge
If that's the
Dracula.
case, Morden's going to shoot Flemeth.
Okay. Okay, so Morden, you are taking a shot at Flemeth.
Hold on, do we have the Stone of Grace yet?
Flemeth has the Stone of Grace.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to shoot at Dracula.
Okay, so Morden and Stitch are both attacking Dracula.
Okay, hold on, Dan.
Yeah.
So, taking into consideration that I am already the son of the devil.
Sure. Oh, I'm
What
sure
does-
you'll be fine, Dante. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'd go for it. Fuck!
How exciting!
So, there's a lot of things that happen very, very quickly. And it's only kind of thinking back to it later that you guys are able to put the pieces together. This all happens in less than a second. There's movement from all over the room as everyone is scrambling either to grab the handle of the sword or to prevent someone else from grabbing it. Meanwhile, there is a flash of dark lightning that surrounds Dante as his normal trench-coated white-hairedness is replaced by this dark-skinned demonic figure in this scaly red coat with glowing eyes. Dante moves with an inhuman speed that no one in the room except maybe Dracula could match. But Dracula is currently being tackled by Stitch and shot multiple times by Morden. Dante reaches the far end of the room, inches ahead of Flemeth. Dante's now blackened and scaly hand reaches out and wraps around the black handle of the sword, protruding very slightly from the wall. There is a deafening crack and boom as a huge cleft splinters off from the point where the sword is embedded in the wall, and spiderwebs out throughout the entire glacier as the glacier itself collapses and falls into pieces. What do all of you do as the glacier is falling apart around you?
Morden's going to double check his portal gun and say, okay, blue one is the one, orange portal. Okay, he makes an orange portal on the ground, which will then open up to a hole in the side of the exterior on like a rock face outside. And then he's going to kind of motion everybody to jump in the portal.
Okay. Everyone else?
I'm just gonna say force sphere.
Okay.
And I'm going to attempt to create a sphere of magic around us all to at least temporarily prevent the room from caving in on us while we escape.
Okay, go ahead and make a psyche check for that, Nico.
Am I even alive?
Well, we'll get to you. We'll get to you.
That is a green.
Okay, so Nico holds up her staff, and some of the falling chunks of ice begin to deflect off of a slightly glowing hemisphere that has appeared above all of you. Morden shoots his portal gun at the ground, and a portal opens up to the safety of the outside as the glacier is collapsing with ear-splitting volume all around you. Geralt jumps through the portal. Flemeth takes one last longing look at the blade which Dante has pulled free from the glacial wall, and then jumps through the portal herself. What are Stitch, Morden, and Nico doing?
I'll jump through.
Okay.
Yeah, Morden is as well.
Okay.
Where's Dante? He's gonna look back at Dante.
You see that Dante is currently
Stitch is looking back
Dante
at
is currently holding the sword and is kind of wrestling with Dracula, who's trying to grab it.
Oh, hell no. Family means no one gets left behind, y'all.
Aww.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, the last thing he did was tackle Dracula, so he's just gonna, like, run up Dracula's body, kind of grab him by the head and start trying to slam his head against ice. Just
Okay. Nico and Morden, the two of you are outside the portal that Morden made along with Geralt and Flemeth. And you guys look around and realize that Dante and Stitch have not emerged. And you're about to sort of look back in the portal when suddenly a huge chunk of ice erupts out of the portal and gets stuck. It is effectively blocking the portal. The two of you are outside when you see the remainder of the glacier collapses in on itself, unable to support its weight with all of the cracks that had erupted. And it's now just this massive pile of ice and snow with bits of it slowly rolling down out into the valley. A moment later, there is an eruption of ice from the very top of this giant pile. You see that Dante, with this sword in hand, emerges from the top of this broken glacier. Impaled upon the sword, motionless, is Dracula. Dante, in your other hand, you hold the remains of rebellion, which has completely shattered.
No!
Oh, so sad.
That's okay.
And-
Upgrade.
And sort of tucked into the elbow of that other arm is Stitch, who has been impaled upon a giant chunk of ice. What do you do?
Morden's gonna start running for Stitch.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You all sort of scramble up the remains of this giant glacial ice pile, basically. Dracula slides silently off of Frostmourne and lies motionless upon the glacier.
I spit on him.
Stitch is totally motionless with just like this big chunk of ice in him.
No!
You starting to George R.R. Martin me, bruh?
I mean, do you guys remember what happened when Arthas got Frostmourne the first time? What happened to his friend who was standing nearby?
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
Morden's
no.
gonna give Stitch a scan and see if there's anything that can be done for him. I have Metagel, I have all that, so is there anything I can do?
His life signs are very faint, but Stitch is unbelievably tough.
Yes.
Stitch puts Krogans to shame in terms of the punishment he can take. Like, some of his organs are clearly able to, like, take up the duties of other organs after they've been injured and stuff. You think you can probably stabilize him with Metagel, but you'll need to get him back to a modern medical facility if he's going to have any chance of surviving.
Stitch is
Okay.
like if you bred a Krogan with a cockroach and then bred that with another cockroach,
Yes.
just to be safe.
Basically.
With a little bit of Doomsday sprinkled in.
Yeah, exactly. As you guys are realizing this, you happen to turn and look back at the valley. All of the undead, which had been fighting against the wildlings, now stand motionless and are looking almost expectantly up at Dante.
Oh.
What? Are there any other remaining enemies in the area?
I mean, there's plenty of undead left, but none of them are fighting anymore.
What the fuck?
You're their ruler.
Yeah,
Go home!
I don't know. Is that what you say? Is that what you say, Dante?
Put your head in the snow and sleep.
When you yell that at them, you see that one by one, it's like this wave of darkness that sweeps over them as the blue light winks out of their eyes, and a bunch of corpses just collapse motionless on the valley floor. You hear a ragged cheer go up from the surviving wildlings as they hold their weapons high, victorious above their heads.
Ah, you didn't do shit!
Flemeth walks up onto the glacial pile that you're all standing on, looks down at Stitch, still lying motionless, and then over at Morden, and just sort of raises a questioning eyebrow.
Something you need.
Well, I was curious as to what our small friend's chances were.
Better the sooner we can get him out of here. Can you give us the stone so we can be on our way?
I suppose I shall. She removes the Stone of Grace from the pouch she had put it in, and holds out the small, perfect sphere of emerald to Morden.
Cool. Morden's gonna snatch it.
Okay. She turns and looks at Nico. And you? Are you planning on returning with your friends, or were you going to take up the cause of the mage as you had spoken of before?
As much as I would like to, there's still a war that needs to be fought.
Yes, I suppose there is. Very well then. I shall let you go to fight it. This has been an interesting interaction, League. I wish you well.
Swear to me.
She casts one more sort of lingering look at Dante and Frostmourne before she transforms back into a dragon and flies off into the distance.
Once she's like a good distance away, Morden's gonna pull out the DDC and fire it up. Can we open a portal here?
You're gonna have to find an extraction point, but it looks like there's actually one not too far from here. It's probably the one that Frostmourne came through originally.
Okay, cool. He's gonna get Stitch under his arm and just start portaling his way there as quick as he can and not really wait for the rest of the league too much. If they keep up, that's fine. But like, he kind of points it out on the map and then starts going. So.
Gotcha. All of you race across the north of Westeros. It's not very far geographically, particularly when you shorten the distance as dramatically as you do with Morden's portal gun. But with Stitch in the critical condition he's in, it feels much longer. Eventually, though, you find yourselves in a small forested area next to a large white tree with a face carved into it. Morden activates the DDC, it snaps open, and an electrical crackling bubble expands outward. You feel the sensation of falling in every direction at once, and then you are within the darkened halls of Castle Grayskull once again. Whew. Stitch has been, I assume, rushed to the infirmary where the emergency medical hologram is performing his ministrations to him, presumably with Morden, I would guess.
Yes, I still haven't found a way to disable him, so I'll let him.
Of course,
I'll let him contribute.
As you're sort of running around the operating table, trying to do what you can for Stitch, you happen to look up and you see that the Velociraptor, along with the very tiny dinosaur that recently hatched out of the egg, are watching worriedly from the door.
Doing what I can.
Nico, sometime when Stitch is still being operated on, Buffy approaches you, tries to get eye contact with you, and says, "Hey, is everything all right?"
That's a difficult question to answer right now.
I mean, your mission was a success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not sure yet what we may have lost along the way.
She glances up at Dante. You ask me, I'm a little worried about what you may have brought back.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you so much for that.
Dante, you're not really hearing this conversation because you're sort of off in your own world. You feel like from the moment you touch the sword, something warm and light inside of you disappeared. And it's been replaced with something which is cold and direct. But to be honest, you don't really feel that upset about it. It feels right somehow. It feels almost better.
Pranks. So many pranks. Someone might die, but it'll be funny.
On a distant part of the planet of Eternia, where the air is foul and toxic, and the ground is made of sharp obsidian, lies a structure known as Snake Mountain. This fortress, resembling a titanic serpent with lava flowing freely from its wide open jaws, is the home of the most evil and deadly beings on all of Eternia.
Which isn't saying much.
Deep within Snake Mountain, sitting on his throne of bones, is the leader of these villains, the skull-faced wizard Skeletor. His dark thoughts are interrupted when his red-furred minion Beastman steps carefully and timidly into the room.
What a boob.
What is it, you flea-bitten furball?
Skeletor demands irritably. The gigantic purple-furred panther at his side growls its similar displeasure at the intrusion. I specifically told you I was not to be disturbed. But, Skeletor, stammers Beastman nervously, you have a guest. They say they have something very, important to tell you. A guest? Skeletor responds in astonishment. I'm not running a bed and breakfast. I don't care how important they say their news is. Throw them out now or I'll banish both of you to another dimension. Before Beastman can respond, another voice comes from the shadows of the doorway. Even if this news concerns Castle Grayskull, how to get inside and how to obtain the power hidden within. Skeletor rises from his throne, calling his skull-topped havoc staff to him from across the room. And who might you be that you hold such privileged information? The figure steps from the shadows. You can call me Demona, and I believe we have much to discuss.
Extraordinary League is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Motherload. You can find his works at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction Podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
You're gonna make your Lunchables all fucking evil. You're gonna take the ham off of the little ham and cheese cracker ones and just put that on your fucking pizza like a goddamn monster.
Yeah, you're gonna take all the pepperoni out of all the Lunchables and put it all on one pizza, and then no one else is gonna get any pepperoni in their Lunchables.
He's gone mad, no!
You know, Frostborn is basically a Lunchables pizza with all the pepperoni on it. That's basically what this is.
Future Miles, cut all this out if it's just boring. So
I'm sure
anyway,
it's very boring.
yeah.
Present Miles finds it boring.
Yes.
Great. Maybe Future Miles will be more tolerant. And,
That's very possible.
Yeah. Future Miles is super happy about, long, thoughtful pauses in the middle of podcasts.
Oh, absolutely. I actually do love this shit, because then I can just wait for it to be done, then cut everything. It makes me so happy.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it, where you get to select just 2 solid minutes of silence and we're
Yeah.
like, goodbye.
Gone.